Hey guys, welcome to SuperNova Sales School. So today, there's no PowerPoint, you just get me. So I want to do a quick introduction for those of you who don't know me, and then we will jump right on in to this call. See where my things are. Here we go. All right, so what's up? What's up? What's up? It's Shameca Tankerson, founder of Stiletto Wealth Society, head power player and creative director of the Power Playground, the virtual training ground for business leaders, especially women who desire to master creating 5 figures in a day and become highly paid authorities. And I want to welcome you to this edition of SuperNova Sales School. I'm excited about it. If you've ever felt like you know you're great at what you do, but when it comes to making an offer on your sales conversations, you stumble and fumble over your words, or you feel like showing the value of what you do with powerful language is not your expertise, the truth is it really needs to be, and you don't want to miss this session of SuperNova Sales School, and you are in the right place. So in this session, I am going to walk you through exactly how I use a simple 3-step process so that you can feel masterful at showing the value of what you do in a sales call or anywhere, whether it's on your sales pages, in videos, when you're networking and talking to people, so that your ideal clients say, hey, you know what, I need that, and they're willing to pay you a premium to experience it. So it's an amazing feeling, I know for sure, when you share how you help people and what you can do for someone, and they say, you know what, I do need that. That's exactly what I need. I know that's an amazing feeling because I get to feel it all the time. Not every time, but it feels great when people are like, where do I sign? So we're going to talk about that today, right? We're going to talk about how to show your value so your peeps say, I need that. Bottom line. So listen, I know I've shared this before, and I know there are many schools of thought on this, but here's the truth. If you don't make interviewing your people, your ideal clients, and polling your target audience a normal part of what you do, then you've got another thing coming when you try to create and release new programs and services, and when you're trying to create that space in your offer, in your sales conversations to get people to say yes. It doesn't have to be a formal survey, but you've got to get out there and start talking to people about what you do, and not in your own head. Like, don't get in your own head about what you think people want. You just need to talk to people. So the first step in this process is to know your ideal client's desires. I'm just going to check real quick on the Facebook because I see some posts coming through just to make sure that nobody's stuck outside of the call. Okay, we're all good. So again, you got to know your ideal client's wants and desires. So I interviewed and surveyed more than 35 women when I created the program that I'm launching at this very moment, which is actually version 2.0 of the Play Big program. It's called Play Big, Get Paid. It's your guide, your step-by-step guide and strategies to becoming a highly paid authority, and it's been totally upgraded. So I'm going to call it Play Big 2.0. But what I did is I took the words right out of their mouths and put them smack dab on my sales page. And when I talk about the program, I use the language and the words that I got from interviewing those women. So I know you've seen this before, and here's a huge mistake that a lot of people make in business when they go to create a service or a program and bring it to market. Have you ever seen somebody get so excited about their own idea? I mean, maybe you've done this before. You're like, oh, this will be cool, and oh, I should add this and that, and then maybe we're gonna do this, and maybe these are my bonuses, and then when you go to sell it, total crickets, silence, right? Nobody wants it. And you find out the hard way that nobody desires what you have or even cares about what you've put in it. Have you seen that? Because I know I have. I see it all the time because I coach people, but I've also experienced it as an entrepreneur. I remember getting so amped up about my new program and that, you know, what was going to go into it and what my bonuses were going to be, and come to find out people could care less. And it wasn't because I didn't have value. So don't get me wrong there. It's not that I didn't have value, and it's not that my program wasn't going to work or get them the results. It was because I didn't know my target market well enough, and I didn't have the language that was magnetic enough that was going to make them perk up, turn their heads, and say, I want that. I need that. Where do I sign? I hadn't done the research. So, a lot of times as entrepreneurs, especially when you're a solo entrepreneur and you're working alone with yourself, we forget that we still have a business. And so there's certain basics from business, and I learned this in business school. Like, most people work off of a business plan. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to go out and do a formal business plan that's like 300 pages, 32 pages, huge business plan, but even a one-page business plan. But one of the key components of a business plan is market research. And we want to skip that step because we think we know what's best. So here's the deal. If you're struggling with knowing how to talk about what you do that makes people want to hand you their money, then you've got to get really good at it. And a good place to start is by polling your audience. It's by doing surveys. We good? All right. So I know you're thinking, okay, that sounds great, Shameca, but where do I find people to survey? I don't have clients. I don't have enough clients. I've tried it before. It hasn't worked. And I'm going to tell you this. You find people to survey everywhere. They're everywhere. And I'm going to give you some hints and tips on how to do that and some strategies for you to do that, because this is an important part of why you might not be getting as many clients as you want, or the types of clients that you want, or people who are willing to pay you once they go through your strategy calls or your sales conversations. So here's what I do. I usually go online and I say something like this. Hey, I might do a post. Hey, I work with women business leaders who are high-level service providers, who aren't making the money that they want to make in their business, who want to raise their rates and have no fear asking for the paycheck they really desire. And what they truly desire is to have their first 5,000 or 10K month. And if that's you, I'd love to interview you. And in exchange for that, I'd love to give you a 30-minute coaching session all about your sales calls. And that's it. Done. That's your Facebook post. So you can do that right now. I'm going to repeat it for you right now just so that you can hear it again and tweak that language for your own business and what you do in your business. But surveying your clients is like the #1 space that you should go into. Hey, Joe. So here it is again. So the first place you want to start is by surveying your clients. And so what I would post is something like, hey, I work with women business leaders who are high-level service providers who aren't making the money they want to make, who want to raise their rates and have no fear in asking for the paycheck they really desire. And what they desire to have is their first $5,000 or $10,000 month. And if that's you, I'd love to interview you. And in exchange, I'd love to give you a 30-minute coaching session all about your sales calls. And that's it. That's your Facebook post. So you post that and you go right in and do it. I mean, you could do that right now. And then you start having these interviews with people, and this starts your market research so that you can get the language that you need to be able to sell your services. So the same thing goes for networking meetings. I would do this typically if you have a weekly relationship building networking meeting. That's one that meets every single week that you go to, or one that you attend on a regular basis, even if you attend it once a month. Then at one of your 30-second introductions or your 60-second infomercials, whatever they call them, do the same thing. Here's who I work with, and I would love to interview you if that's you, and I'd love to give you a 30-minute coaching session or a 30-minute session on whatever it is that you do for helping me to do this. And what you're going to find is that people say, by all means, I'll help you do that. So the third way that you can do this target market research is reaching out to your current clients. And I think by far for me, this has probably been the most effective because, one, they already know you. They already know what you do. They've experienced one level of your work. And so what I'll normally do is I'll tell my clients, hey, you're the type of person that I absolutely love to work with. And make sure that you find clients that are the exact match for the next level of thing that you're planning on offering, the next program you're planning on offering. And then just let them know, hey, would it be okay if outside of our normal sessions, we do another 15-minute call where I interview you and ask a few questions? And because your clients love you, they like you, they want to work with you, and they want to support you as much as you want to support them, typically they will just say, yes, by all means, let's do that. And you just put it on the calendar and do it. From those conversations, that's how I know what I'm going to offer next. And typically when you share that statement of, here's who I work with, and if that's you, I want to do a session, people will usually say, hey, that's me, I'll do an interview with you. And then here's what happens next. When they tell me what they want, I'm listening and I'm taking notes of every single thing they say. And here's a power tip that I'm going to give you. Take notes, but also record those conversations, because sometimes taking notes doesn't happen as fast, and you go back and you listen and you find things. So surveys, interview current clients, use your social media platforms to do those kind of posts that I just talked about, requesting people to do quick interviews with you, offer them a session with you for doing that as a thank you. And I just want to tell you, you can do this. Like the market research part, I think that's the space where people make the hugest mistake when they go out and try to put a program together. They don't talk to enough people who would want to buy what they have to offer. Even if only 5 people you were able to get on the phone and talk to, that would totally change the game for you, and you'll be blown away of what you're going to find out. What you'll find out is that you may have a great idea, but maybe you were just talking about your idea in a way that wasn't in their language, and they didn't recognize that it was of value to them. So now you can take their language, their words right out of their mouth and slap it on in your conversation, slap it on your sales pages, slap it in your webinars using their language. Typically when I share this with people, this is what they ask me. So what do I ask when I get on these conversations? So I'm going to lay out some actual questions that are super powerful that you can ask. And so here we go. So the first question I have is like, what are the 3 things you want more than anything in your business? What are the 3 things you want more than anything in your business? The next one, what are your top 3 struggles in your business? What are your top 3 struggles in your business? What do you want so much for your business that you pay anything for it? What do you want so much in your business that you pay anything for it? What's the most important thing about a group program to you? What's the most important thing about a one-on-one program or services to you? How important is community? How much would you pay for it? Just point blank ask them, how much would you pay for this? I can't tell you how many times I've priced out my services based on the average of what people told me they were willing to invest. And lots of times it ends up being higher than the amount that I was going to pay myself. What's another question you can ask? I'm going to read off a list of bonuses. So why don't you rate them in terms of like 1 to 10, 10 being the lowest, or 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. So you can share that with them. I'm going to rate a list of bonuses. What else can I think of? I think the list of bonuses is cool because then you get to see like what are the bonuses that I'm putting out there that people don't really give a rat's patootie about, and then what do they really want? And a lot of times for me, the bonuses I think are super cool because I know what's going into them. It's not really on my client's radar. They want something that's super simple that I can just put out there and give it to them, like an outline for how to do something. I'm like, oh, I can do that really easy. What's your biggest fear? What are your aspirations? Where do you want to be in 5 years? 5 years from now, looking at your business, looking at your life, looking at your health, whatever it is that you focus on, where do you want to be 5 years from now? What's your biggest desire? So the deal is I ask questions that are related to what they want most in their business, in their life, or you can ask questions related to whatever the service that you do, but what they want most in their relationships, in their health. And then those questions will also help me create my sales language. So when you look at that, when I'm asking people what do they want most, I can literally just put that on a sales page. I know you're looking for XYZ, but you haven't been able to do it because of this. Well, I've got something that will help you do that. I use it in my offer, I use it on my web pages, everything really. It just creates your sales language. So if you skip this step, it's detrimental to your ability to be able to make powerful offers that people say yes to. So I want to get so clued in on what they want. It's like, bam, I can write a sales page like a boss because I know this is what they desire. So interview your peeps. That's step number one. Now, don't get hung up on this and make excuses not to move forward. Like, I can't find people, or staying in this interview process so long that you never release anything. I want you to move forward, and don't get stuck. Even if you just get a couple of interviews, you start to get some language in that you can start to get your programs out there. So the next thing you need is your power message. So your power message, actually, let's go a step further than that. You don't just need like the power message. You also want, multiple power phrases. So let's say that. So not just one, you want to have an arsenal that you can pull from, and I'll kind of give you a set number. Typically at least 3 to 5, but I have about 15 on mine, and I'll share them with you in just a minute. So once you have your power phrases, so here's what I want you to know. If you don't have clarity on what you do yet, and I'm going to say this because I see this all the time, when people don't have clarity on what they're going to do, what they're going to offer, who they're going to help, they get paralyzed. So if you don't have clarity on what you're going to do yet, I don't care. I know, that's kind of mean. But you don't necessarily need to know. And so what I'm about to do is give you an exercise that I want you to do, and I want to encourage you. I want to encourage all of you to be available or be unavailable for confusion and overwhelm. Okay? Be unavailable for confusion or overwhelm. I'm looking at my desk and I'm wondering, can you guys see my Himalayan pink salt, my protein shake, and my apple cider vinegar behind me? I feel like you can. You can't? Okay, it's right here. Himalayan pink salt, protein shake, apple cider vinegar. I can see it.
We can see it, but I wouldn't have guessed that that's what it is just based on what we see.
I was like, okay, my lunch is like sitting on the table. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. So where was I? Oh, okay, I was talking about the exercise. I really want you to be unavailable for confusion and overwhelm. And if you found yourself in this space where you get ready to do something, you're like, I just don't know what to do. Really, confusion and overwhelm is a decision. It really is a decision. You make a decision to be that. Being confused is a choice. Being overwhelmed is a choice. If you don't want to be confused and overwhelmed, then don't be. Just choose not to be. And it's that simple, because here's the deal. There are going to be harder choices that you have to make as an entrepreneur than like which client are you working with. And if you can master making the choice to be unavailable for overwhelm and confusion sooner and faster, like right now, today, then you're likely going to make more money in your business and your career and have a much bigger impact. Okay? All right. So if you don't have clarity yet, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter for this exercise. Especially for this exercise, because it's just about you doing the exercise and getting that down. So what I want you to do is my power phrases exercise, free of overwhelm, free of confusion. I want you to make that decision right now. No overwhelm, no confusion. Okay, so again, I don't care how much clarity you have, just do the exercise. So in one column, I want you to write down everything that you've ever helped anybody do. And if you don't have clients or you haven't started working with people yet, then just think of making a list and think of everything you've ever done yourself and put that on the right-hand side of the column. Okay, so maybe you've lost 15 pounds if you haven't helped somebody else do it. Maybe you found the love of your life if you haven't found somebody else do it. Whatever those things are, just write them down on the left-hand side of your page. Whatever you've done for yourself or have helped a friend with, or anyone else in your life or your clients, or it doesn't matter, just whatever you've done that you can do on the left-hand side. Every single thing you could possibly think of. So if you're going to be watching this and it's on recorded, I want you to press pause and actually do it right now. I want you to actually make that list, okay? All right, so for the purposes of the recording, I'm just gonna ask, did you pause it? And did you do the work? And if not, stop and do it right now. And I'm gonna ask you, where else does it show up in your life and business where you don't get to work in the moment? Where else does that show up where you're like, oh, I'll put it off, and you never get around to it? So push pause, do it. And if you did do it, let's go ahead and move on. So once you put on the right-hand column or the left-hand column, everything that you've done in your business or something that you've helped someone do or that you've done yourself, now on the column next to that, I want you to write down the benefits of what you do. So write down the benefits of what you do. Let me figure out why, Joe, your screen is showing more than mine. I have no idea. Hey, I didn't know I could do that. That's actually pretty cool. I like that view. It's just too big.
What are you trying to learn to do?
Huh?
Like you can, if you put us in like speaker view,
yeah,
then you can click on like your image and you can say pin video. And then that will be the video that's showed all the time. Like right now it's in speaker view, so I'm talking, so it's going to show me.
Yeah.
But if you just pin it to you, then it'll just show you.
So,
or you can show it in gallery view.
Damn.
Or you can show it in gallery view, which allows everyone to be seen.
You're so smart. Thank you.
Yep.
I've been trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, it took me a while too. I thought I knew how, and then I kept trying to do it, and then I was like, how do you do this?
Cool.
And then I learned.
Hey, Lisa. Can't see you. Hi. Hi. All right. So where was I? Oh, left-hand column. Okay, so on the right-hand column, everything you've ever helped anybody do. Sorry, left-hand column, everything you've ever helped anybody do. And then on the right-hand column, you're going to write down the benefits of that thing that you did. Okay? So let's take me for example. If I help someone to put together their packages, or if I help them, let's say, price and put together their packages, then the benefit of that is that they feel really confident about their offer or about making their offer, right? So I help you price and put together your packages. That's my thing that I do. Then the benefit is that now you're going to be really confident about your offer. So it's going to sound like this. This is what my power phrase would sound like. I help you put your packages and prices together so that you feel really confident making an offer, right? So see how you put it all together? If I had just said, I help you put packages and pricing together, and that's all I said, then it's like, okay, well, that's great. But I'm not really talking about the outcome or the benefit. You've got to add the benefit to it. So you feel confident making an offer, right? So now that you have that, there's a third column. The third column is, what's the benefit of the benefit? So then you write the benefit of that benefit, okay? So it'll sound like this. I help you put your packages and prices together so that you feel really confident making an offer. And then the benefit of that is you get more yeses and bring in more clients and make more money, right? That's more powerful. So this is how you want to put your sales language together so that you can begin to make powerful offers that get people to say yes. So I'm going to go through that again. So this is what it sounds like. So I'll help you put your packages and prices together so that you feel really confident making an offer and you hear more yeses during your sales calls. Ka-ching, right? And everybody on the call is like, ooh, I need that. So I want you guys to at least try to do one for yourself. What's one thing you help people with? Because this is going to come in handy when you get to the offer section of your strategy sessions, your discovery sessions, your sales calls. So one thing you help people with, what's the benefit of that, and then the benefit of the benefit. The benefit of the benefit. Okay? Give you a couple of seconds to just do one right now. Cool, and maybe if we have some time later, we'll go back and I'll listen to a couple of them and tweak them with you. So if you listen to what I just shared, that's way better than just I help you with put your packages and pricing together. I mean, that's good. It's like, oh, maybe I need that. But when I start talking about the benefit and the benefit of the benefit, now it drives it home, and it's more in an emotional place of they can see where they're going to be as a result of having that help of putting their prices and packages together. So I know some of you are still trying to choose confusion and overwhelm, and you're like, but I do a million different things and I don't know which thing to choose and what to focus on. So I'm going to tell you this, and be straightforward, be a straight shooter here. I still don't care. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick the one thing that people are asking you for. So, and here's how it works when you're on your sales call. You pick the ones or the one that people are asking you for on your calls. So you don't talk about everything you do and everything you can possibly help people do. You zone in on what they say they want and they desire, what they're saying that they need. So you don't say, oh, well, here's this power phrase for something you didn't ask for. No, don't do that. Okay? So here's the thing. No matter how many you have listed on your sheet of your power phrases, you're going to find that once you get people on the phone, your ideal clients are starting to ask for a lot of the same things. So that means that whatever you help people do that people aren't asking for, you're not going to talk about that on your calls. You're not going to add stuff. You're only going to talk about what they asked for. Okay? You're going to talk about only the things they did ask for, which is why I'm always saying on your calls in the beginning, when you're asking, what are your dreams, your hopes, your desires? What do you want for your business? What do you want for your life? What's the goal? Depending on what you do, right? What service you provide, you're going to write down verbatim in your notes as your clients describes what their goals, visions, hopes, desires, and dreams are while they're on the call. You're going to write down verbatim what they're saying so that you can use it later. Okay? So I have tons of these. I think I have about 15 now that are in working order that I pull out from time to time. And actually, I'm gonna share them with you. But here's what happens. In the beginning, you're gonna look at them and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, which one do I say? Which one do I use? Just remember what I just told you. Focus on what they said they wanted, their desires, their hopes, their dreams, and use the one that best supports them in that. Or you can just use their words verbatim back at them if you feel like it's something that you have a skill set to support them with. Here's what will happen very quickly, though, as you continue to do sales conversations. And what happened to me as I continue to do sales conversations, I realized that people were only asking me for about 5, maybe 10 at the most of my power phrases. Okay? But most often, it was really the top 3 to 5 that were most occurring. There were only 3 to 5 that were reoccurring often. Well, those 3 to 5 are in my script. Those 3 to 5 stay next to me while I still have the others that I can use on sales pages and other things, but I know I'm going to use those. And so I keep those. So really it's about 3 to 5, but if you can get a list of 10 to 15 going, you'll start to be able to figure out when you start looking at those power phrases, you'll start realizing that you're focusing on them and talking about them. And then you realize, oh my gosh, here's what I'm good at. Here's where people are, this is what I specialize in. This is what people want from me. And the bottom line is you choose from their request. Are you guys with me? Choose from their request. Screen share the list. Here's what I'll do. Oh yeah, I can do that. It's in my notes. I can screen share the list. Let's see. It's going to be small. I'll do it. I'll figure it out in a second. Where am I?
I can help you with how to do that too if you want.
I think I know how to screen share it. It's just going to be tiny. I'll make it bigger. Okay.
It'll blow up real big based on however big your screen is.
Okay, cool. All right. So then basically you're just going to pick from what they request on the call, or better yet, give them their request back verbatim, right? If it's in your skill set to do. Don't say I can help you with achieving XYZ if you can't do that. Okay. Okay. And then you'll start to realize, again, you specialize in something and people are coming to me for this thing. They're not coming to me for the 100 million other things that I do. I have certification and degrees in. They're coming to me for this, and this is what I should focus on. And then you'll find that not only are you a lot clearer about your message, but your message is more clear and more powerful and more attractive than it was when you were just willing to like throw everything out there. And it's that way because you're willing to ditch the confusion, stay out of overwhelm, and just do this exercise without it. Okay, without going into total meltdown mode, like, oh, I can't, I don't know what to do, I don't know how many things I do choose from, I don't know how to make myself different. So a word of advice, just don't do that. Okay, don't do it. It's not sexy. It's not cool. Choose to not be overwhelmed. Do the exercise, follow through, and then begin to use it in your conversation. So just make the list. Use it as a support during your conversations. Can you guys do that? Can you just make the list and use it as a support in your sales conversations? All right, so good job. And no matter what, I want to tell you this, just keep moving forward, using it in your conversations, trying it out, using it when you're talking to people about what you do. Because here's the truth, you cannot course correct if you're standing still. Think about it. If you're standing still, all you can do is turn in different directions. And for some of you guys, turning in different directions means turning in circles, round and round and round, chasing your tail, right? You can't course correct unless you are moving. That's how you can course correct. You have to be actually moving. When you start walking, that's when you can truly navigate and you know, then it's like you hit some point and you're like, oh, I need to go over here, and now I need to be over there, and now I need to go this way. And that's totally normal on your entrepreneurial journey, to be in different phases and stages and to make changes and to have to choose a different niche or a different focus. I mean, I didn't always focus on sales, conversations, and money. But you can't do any of that unless you're actually in action and in the work, figuring out what you like to do, and most importantly, what your people are asking for. If you're trying to figure it out in your head, I guarantee you're going to stay stuck, you're going to stay in confusion, you're going to stay in overwhelm, and a year from now, you're still going to say, you know, I don't have clarity on what my message is. You got to be in action and in movement. Cool? All right. So I want to recap the exercise. You should have 3 columns. Okay? One should say what you do. The next session should say the benefit of what you do. And then in the 3rd column, you write the benefit of that benefit. Got it? Cool. So, okay, guys, so you want me to share my top power phrases that I use on sales calls. I'm going to give them to you right now, word for word. I'm open to sharing. And I don't even care if you copy them. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And I need to make it a single page. Okay. All right, so that's bigger. I don't care if you copy them. You can write them down verbatim. Doesn't matter to me. Just make sure that if you do use them, you can back it up, and it is a skill set that you have, and you can really help somebody do that. So if you guys want me to share this, and if you want me to share it like Joe said, if you want to actually see that, type yes in the chat box. So you need these power phrases because you need language that entices your clients to say yes. I'll have one of those. All right, here we go. Share my screen. Find myself first. Did I lose you guys? Yeah. I have way too many things open. Awesome. Okay. So I hope this really helps you. Share my screen. I have so much stuff open. Where is my Word document? Yeah. How about, Shameca, you close some windows first? Give me a second, guys. If I can close some windows and I can share the right screen. Way too much stuff open. YouTube videos and multiple pages of Facebook. Let me close my PowerPoints. All right, just bear with me as I go through this process. Okay, I think I'm ready now. Let me close this one. Yeah. All right. It should work now. Let's see. Okay. Share my screen. Word document. Okay. Cool. You guys see that? Yeah. All right. All right, so I have about 15 of them listed here, so I'm going to go through them with you. So the first one says, gain clarity on your offer and set your services up for success. Create, package, and price programs you love that spotlight your value and set you apart. Looks like I put multiple together on that one. Here's one. We'll work together to explore your beliefs around your ability to make money so that you can begin operating from a place of power in your money story and step into the version of you who creates their first 10K month. So if you see it, if you listen to how I'm putting it in there, it's like you just put it all together and you put it into a sentence, and it's the benefit of the benefit, the thing you do, the benefit of the benefit. I hope you get super clear on your message and the language you use to talk about your services that you provide in a way that draws your ideal client to you and renders them objectionless. I can help you gain clarity on your absolute ideal client and target market so that everybody you want to attract knows you're the one, you're their person, and has no trouble saying yes to you over and over and over again. I can help you design high-end packages that you love and feel super confident about so you get more yeses more often and feel way more confident in your sales calls so you can start making bank in your business. I can help you conduct sales conversations and strategy sessions that make you feel authentic, powerful, like yourself, and converts 50% more of your conversations into paying clients so you can have your first 5-figure month. We can talk about how to put a simple sales process and lead generation sequence together in an online or offline plan that streamlines your daily activities so you don't fall into the Facebook black hole and actually start getting clients with less time online and less hours in your business. A few more. I can teach you how to design your teleseminars, webinars, speaking gigs, and live workshops so that you know exactly how to structure them to get more clients. We can transform your lack mindset around getting clients and making money so that you're open to receiving more for your work and add zeros to your rates or even to turn your annual income into your monthly income. Identify your signature authority solution and feel confident in the transformation you provide so that your clients get amazing results and then you can brag about them. Learn how to package your prices and know your worth so you're not afraid to ask for what you really want to receive as a paycheck. Get to know your ideal clients like the back of your hand and learn to speak their language so they get magnetized to you with ease while you take less action. I have so many typos in these, it's hilarious. Use my super sharp practice to get inside your target market's head and have them glued to your every word and ready to say yes before you even ask. Speak powerfully to your audience to build the foundation for big profits, big paydays that go on and on and on and on and on. And then the last one, open the doors to wealth by powerfully using your story to attract more clients. So that's it in a nutshell. Just my examples and my ideas. Was that helpful to you to kind of hear a few examples so that you can do the same thing in your own business? You are welcome. Cool. All right. So let me see where I am. All right. So basically, we want to tie it all together and put it into your offer. So how do I deliver this in language when I'm on a sales conversation with someone? So here's the deal. You've got to be really transparent on your sales conversations and your sales calls. You cannot go into those calls thinking about yourself, thinking about the outcome. thinking that, oh my gosh, if I share with them exactly what they're going to do step by step, then they're going to just go do it by themselves and they're not going to hire me. And I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, that is never the case. Let me open this up. I got it way too big now. Okay. Okay, so it drives me nuts because I audit sales conversations all the time. So that's one of the benefits my clients get from working with me is they record sales conversations, I listen in and then give feedback, or we go back and forth with, I sell to them, they sell to me, and we tweak their process and their language so that they can have a really powerful conversation. Here's what drives me bananas when I hear a call that goes like this. Okay, so the client says, I need help with ABC, and then the person on the other end who's doing the selling goes, okay, yeah, no problem. I could totally do that. We could do all of that. Just sign right here. Yep, we're good. We can do all that. Want to work with me? I'm like, that doesn't work. That language is not powerful, eloquent language that entices people to say yes. Or it drives me totally crazy when the other person who's supposed to be leading the conversation and leading the decision-making process, i.e. that would be you, chickens out at the end of the conversation, and there's this awkward, well, okay, I guess I'll see you soon, or we'll talk another time, or it's like, what do we do next? Or let me send you something. I'll send you a couple of things for you to look at, and then get back to me and let me know what you want to do. Don't do that. That does not work. I can guarantee you that if you've done that, 99.9% of the time, that person never comes back, and you feel like you're chasing them later to get an answer. And when you finally do get them on the phone, the answer is always, almost always, unequivocally, no. I thought about it and I don't want to do it. So you want to close your sale. You want to end the conversation on a yes or a no on the call. And I always say this, I actually got this from a guy named Rich Litvin, who wrote a really great book called The Powerful Coach. He says, there's no such thing. Well, he goes, it's either hell yes or hell no. There's no such thing as a hell maybe, right? So you want to lead your clients to a decision, whether that's a yes or a no, it's okay. So how do we do that? So the secret to more sales in your business is actually not a secret at all. It's a strategy. You want to have a strategy. So I've already been teaching you guys how to go through like my iServe formula, how to ask the question. So I'll give you basically a jet stream bulleted point version of how to conduct a sales conversation, and then I'm going to laser in on the offer. Literally what you want to do with your clients is you want to look at Pain Island, which is the problem that they currently have right now. Ask them all about what they're struggling with, what's not going right in their business, right? And then you want to take them to Pleasure Island, which is, well, what would you want instead, right? This is like a 10,000 foot level of a sales conversation. And then you want to bridge the gap by sharing with them how you can support them in getting there, okay? Pain Island, Pleasure Island, bridge the gap, okay? That's a 1 million Mount Everest summit level sales conversation process. All right, so again, the secret to having more sales in your business is not a secret at all. It is quite frankly a strategy. And so you do want to have a sales conversation template process, just like a riverbank has banks to show where it's supposed to flow. You want to have that for yourself so that when you get to the point of the offer, you've made sure that you've crossed your I's, dotted your T's, and done everything you needed to do to get them to see how you can bridge the gap. And now you begin to do that. So you have to speak using eloquent words and powerful, impactful words that shows the value of what you do, and so that your people are all in. And they're asking you at the end, how do I work with you? That's typically what happens. It's like, how do I work with you? What are your programs? I'm not typically saying, okay, so here's what I want to do, and do you want to work with me? I usually get asked, how do we get started? And so that's what you want. And really, it's not really about them asking, can I please pay you money? It's rather them wanting and desiring to invest in that bigger vision they have for themselves through you and through the work that you provide. All right, so here's a quick script or a peek or a role play or whatever you want to call it, but it's what I do in my sales conversations when it's time to make the offer. I'm really open and transparent about the actual blueprint, the roadmap, the step-by-step process that they have. And I just tell them, here's the path that's going to get you from where you want to be to where you want to go. Even before they say yes, I tell them exactly what we're going to do. So some people are afraid of this. I don't want you to be. Just tell them, here's what you need to do in your business. Okay? And here's why. Just because you tell them the path and what they need to do, it doesn't mean they're going to know how to do it or even that they're going to do it. And they usually don't. And that's why they need you for accountability, for implementation, and for the how-to avoid the roadmaps, the roadblocks, the pitfalls that they can fall into. So don't be afraid of that. Don't worry about that. All right. And this is also where having your signature system, your signature authority system mapped out helps tremendously, because you're literally offering people this, your step-by-step process, and telling them the why it will help them. So here's what my conversations typically sound like. I will usually start off, this is like the magic turnaround point. So your turnaround phrase when it's time to do your offer is always, so, okay, what I hear you saying is this. Okay, so you want to write that phrase down because you're recapping back to them. Okay, so I'll say, here's a quick recap. I've been listening to you, and what I've heard you say as I've been listening is that you want X, Y, Z. And I just list their verbatim things that they said they wanted. Okay, once I make that phrase and that statement, I know that I'm in the offer portion of my sales conversation. Okay, and then I'll say, so what I've been listening to you, and what I've heard you saying is that you want X, Y, Z. And I have a program that can get you there. And the program that I feel like would be a best fit for you is the Play Big, Get Paid program. Okay, so let me tell you exactly what our work together would look like to start. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab a pen, because I'm literally going to tell you the holes and the gaps that you have in your business. And I want you to write these down because they're super important. Okay. And usually they're just like, okay, I'm ready. I already have a pen. I've been taking notes the whole time. So I want you to tell me. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I feel like you need to do to get the result that you need. Okay, you guys got that? So you got your turnaround phrase, which is, I've been listening. Here's what you said you wanted. And then the next turnaround is, here's what you need to do to get that result. Okay? And it's not by my program. So here's what you need to do to get that result. Okay, so word for word, this is like, yeah.
Can I interrupt and ask a question? I'm sorry. So I really like how you explain that, and we're teaching that a lot. Basically just, that language of, I've been listening, and here's what it feels like you're telling me, and is what you really want. Mm-hmm. So before you move them into, this is what it takes to get that. Is it appropriate to have the conversation of like, so this is what I understand you want. What's it worth to you to achieve that? Yeah.
So I'm not going through the entire sales conversation. Counting the cost or finding out the cost of that is actually prior to the turnaround and making the offer. So yeah, that happens first.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll ask them, because they're going to tell you, remember, they're going to tell you what's wrong, what they want instead, and then you're going to count the cost. So if you don't do this, what it's going to look like in 3 years. In 3 years, if you don't solve this problem, where are you going to be? Is this a problem that is this something that you just started desiring? Is it a new goal, or is this a goal you've carried on from 2014, 2015? And they'll say, you know what, I've been trying to do this for 10 years, right? So that's how we count the cost, and then we transition into the offer. Okay?
Okay.
Shameca?
Yes?
By the way, I don't know how to start the video. So do I just click start video and it's going to record or whatever for the camera?
You just can click, you can just click the video that's in the lower left, kind of by the mute button, and that'll turn your camera on and off.
Hi.
Okay, so my question is, do you, when you're going over there, telling them what the gaps are, do you do all of them? So you see there are 15, potential areas that need assistance. Mm-hmm. Do you go through all of them? Because in pointing that out, I guess if they could solve them, they wouldn't come to you for help anyway. But do you outline all of them?
So let's back up. When I say I'm going to show you what I see you need to do,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I know that there's tons of gaps that they need to work on, and that's what I'm about to share with you guys right now. Remember I said you want to write down those power phrases, and then you want to focus on what they said they wanted. So it doesn't matter all the gaps that I see, it's about what their desires are, and I'm going to just plug those holes for them right now, based on what I've heard in the conversation. Okay. So I'm gonna do a verbatim scripting for you right now, so you can kind of hear what it sounds like and see how you would pull in your signature system. And it's just the things in your signature system, or just the things in your power phrases that match, one, what they need right now, but also what they're seeking to accomplish. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me do that. So I decided to go back and actually pull this out from a sales conversation that I had yesterday. So I just went in word for word. Here's what I think we need to work on with you. So the first thing I want to do is I want to tell you something that I think you're going to need to get ready to do and to think about, but I want you to know this. It's going to push your boundaries a little bit. Are you okay with that? And of course she said, okay, yeah, I'm okay. So I said, if you want the result you're telling me you want, you've got to get yourself out there more. You've got to get on video, audio, something. You've got to be speaking. You've got to be willing to get out there and speak in front of audiences. So I know that one of the things I support people with, remember I said, learn how to put your presentations together, speak powerfully so you can. So it's, again, I'm still going through the pieces I know that I help with and pulling out the things that I know that she's not doing that's going to support her. Does that make sense? And I'm telling her why, okay? Because you've got to speed up your trust building process. So it's the thing they need to do and then the why, okay? I shared, when I think about this, if somebody sees a Facebook post or they see a blog post or you're sending them a newsletter, how many of those do they have to see before they have built up enough trust to hire you? But if you're in front of them, in front of a live audience, and you're speaking or you're on a video, that trust building factor is accelerated. And so we want to accelerate that for you. So that's thing number one. And this is typically how I'll go through it. Okay. Let's see what else. And then, of course, I'll share, there's phrases and scripting that I share all the time. So you guys have heard me say, I believe that your voice is the most powerful income creation tool on the planet. I might share that and then just say, I've seen it proven over and over and over again. So whatever point you have or your whys that you have that drive home that first step that they need to do, use that. Okay, and then I'll ask them, just as a challenge, are you prepared to get outside of your comfort zone and start doing speaking, audio, video as part of your marketing practice? And then they'll either answer yes, no, I'm uncomfortable. She said, I'm okay with doing audio. I've got to work up to the video. And I do speaking now. And so I was able to share with her that, again, more sales in your business is not just a secret, it's a strategy. So there's a process and a way to put together your presentation when you speak so that, a percentage of the room will always say yes. Would you like to make money, walk away with cash instead of just hand claps and applauses? Sure. Okay. And so you just take them through that process. So here's the thing is you've got to they're on the phone with you because they believe you can help them and they're already viewing you as a leader in authority position. And a lot of times when we get to the offer, we flip the script and put the client in charge. They're looking for your guidance. You need to take the stance that it's like you're a doctor. And when the doctor looks inside and they see something wrong, they tell you, okay, here's the course of action that I think you need to take. You need chemo, you need, this or that, you need this medication. And we 100% trust their authority to tell us this. That's how your offer needs to be presented. Not like, I have this thing, and if you really want to buy it, then I'll be glad to help you. It's, if you want to get to where you're trying to go, this is what you need to do. You need this, and this. Are you ready? And here's why you need it. Here's why you need this. Okay. So she said it was okay with her about the video. So I'm like, okay, good. I'm ready to move on. If she had said no, then at that point I can say, you know what? Then I know that you're not going to accomplish that goal. And I already know that you're not the right client for me. And I'm okay with walking away with that because I know she needs those things. And those are things that I support and help with. If she's not willing to speak, either on video, live, or doing audio, webinars, things like that, there's nothing I can do to support her. I'm not the one that's going to show her how to do driving traffic to a site so that it can all be automated. That's not what I do, right? So be crystal clear about that. Okay, and so then I say, okay, so here's the next thing that you need to do. Are you ready? Here's what we need to do. You're just starting out. So one of the things we need to do is we need to shift your mindset around money and kind of expand your wealth consciousness. I call this a power shift. Because you're the first person you have to convince of your fee. We need to do that a little bit with you. And if you're willing to go there, it might not always be comfortable, but I guarantee you, you'll start to make more money faster. And she said, okay, cool, I'm willing to do that. Okay. And then I said, okay, let's talk about what things would look like for you. So here's what it would look like. The first thing that we need to do is we need to figure out, get clarity on your foundational pieces. Like, what's your power message? What's your superpower? How are you going to hook people? What's going to separate you? Like, what kind of coach are you exactly, and who your target market is? You need clarity on those foundational pieces. They're foundational, but trust me, if you skip them, you're going to suffer and struggle. If you laser focus on them and are laser clear on them, you're going to make bank so fast, it's going to be crazy. Okay. And then I share, like, the reason why, again, the why behind it, the reasons why my clients have successes and they're able to create 5 figures, 6 figures in a day and start making money. It's because I'm not the kind of coach that's just going to focus on what you do and who you do it with. I'm also going to focus on the why, but I'm also going to take it a step further and really zone in on what's your magic that you bring to the table. Right? Because 20% of your success is on the strategy, the who, the why. 80% of it is based on who you be. I did write down exactly what I said to her, so I'll just go ahead and keep reading it. So you might be clear on who your ideal client is. You might even be clear on, be able to eloquently speak about what you do, but what makes you different? Why you and not somebody else? That part, I can pull that out of you. So I'm going to dig deep, ask you questions, figure out, like, where do you shine the most? Like, what's your magic? And then bam, I pull your power message out. We language that so that your clients know what you do. They know you're their person and you're the one, and you stand out from everybody else. Okay. So once those foundational pieces are in place, here's the thing. As we were talking in the conversation, you were telling me that you're not great at sales, but you gotta be. You gotta get good at sales. There's a Robert Kiyosaki quote that says, if you're a business person and you haven't mastered sales, or you don't desire to master sales, like, go get another job. This isn't for you. That's basically what he says. You must master sales. And so we're going to do that. Once those foundational pieces are in place, we're going to get you really good at sales, and not just getting you really good at sales, but really good at having powerful conversations with people that get them to see your value in a way that they're willing to pay you a premium to experience it. And not only that, we're going to get you good at booking those sales conversations so that you never run out of leads. Okay, so that, and that as people come to you and you're getting better and better at it, it's just a matter of time, because you're getting so good that it's just a numbers game, right? So we're going to get you the clarity, then we're going to work on your sales, and then we're going to streamline your marketing. And I'm talking grassroots. See, people are out here, they're like, I'm on Periscope, I'm on Facebook, I'm on this, I'm on that, I'm doing webinars, I'm doing this. We want to streamline that so that you have a simple marketing process that works, that's grassroots, that can bring clients to you. It's like an ATM machine. You know the numbers, and if you do this, X, Y, Z, this is how many clients you're going to get. Not a lot of tricky technology, and it works like a well-oiled machine. I don't want you ever saying to me that you don't know what to do today. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I want you crystal clear. So again, here's those 3 things so I can make sure that we're on the same page. The 3 things are, you need your foundational pieces in place and clarity around that. You need sales. You need a sales and sales strategy for strategy sessions and sales calls. You need to get better at sales, and you need to streamline your marketing. Okay, those are the pieces. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. Those are the 3 things that we'll focus on until they're mastered. And until they're mastered, we won't bring anything else in. Yes, there's tons of other things we can do, but it doesn't make any sense to do that. I want you focused, and then once you've done that, we can add some other pieces to that. Are you ready to do this? And it's that simple. That was the offer. So did you realize what I didn't talk about? I didn't talk about how long the program was. I didn't talk about how many sessions she got. I didn't talk about bonuses, how often we're going to meet, any of those things. My next step after that will be, are you ready? Either are you ready, are you in? It depends on the camaraderie I'm having with the person. If it's a little more formal, which hopefully it's not at that point because I'm not a formal person, I will say, do you feel like this is something that can support you? What kind of difference, instead of a yes or no question, what kind of difference will that kind of support make in your business? And then they'll either ask me the price or what's the investment or how do we get started. If they don't, then I'll say the investment for the program is, and once you say your dollar amount for your investment, you don't say another word. You don't breathe, you don't do anything. If you have to push mute on your phone, then you mute your phone. Because the first person who speaks loses. So once you say the investment for the program is $5,000, you shut up. You don't get to say anything else. You don't get to say, and it has this in it. And we can get started right away. You don't even say any of that. When the number comes out of your mouth, you shut it and you wait for them to talk. And sometimes that could be a long time, and we get uncomfortable in silence. So that's why I said, if you need to, push mute on your phone. I have literally gone to the restroom while people were holding on the phone. My restroom is right here by my office, so it's not a big deal. But I've muted. I'm like, I'll do what I need to do until I hear you talk. And so once they speak, which they'll normally say, okay, or sometimes they'll say, hello. You're like, I'm still here, just waiting on you, and you push mute again. And then they'll usually say like, well, okay, well, how much is it? Or not how much is it? They'll start to ask more buying questions. Or they'll start to ask questions. See, a lot of times we get defensive and we start offering information that they don't need to make a decision. So wait for them to tell you what information they need to make a decision. So now they'll say, okay, they'll ask you, how long is it? They'll start to ask you, do you have a payment plan? You know, 5,000 is a little steep. Okay. So here's my second statement once you make the offer. Once you get into buying questions, you need to clarify that that's all they need. So if an objection comes up, like I can't afford that or that's too much, the first question you need to ask is, if the money were no object, like if it wasn't a money thing and you had $5,000 right now to pay, do you feel like this program would be something that would support you? Would you be all in right now and you could just write a check? Yes, and there's nothing else preventing you from moving forward with this today. Because I don't want to spend time talking to somebody about payment options when really there's some other reason why they don't want to buy. And then they'll usually tell you the truth if there is or there isn't. And they'll say, no, it's just money. Okay, so I don't like to be people's bank, but I do have payment options that are available. Would a payment plan support you? Again, I'm not making any assumptions. I'm asking them, would a payment plan support you? And they'll say, wow, yeah, that would be great. Okay, now I'm still not making any assumptions. So I know what payment plan I have and what I'm willing to do. You should already have that worked out. But I still ask the next question, which is, what were you thinking?
Shameca.
Yes.
So you don't throw the payment arrangement, because that's the way I was always told. No,
nope.
Throw the dollar sign out there and then wait.
No. Because sometimes for me, I'll find out in a sale, let's say it's a $10,000 sale, and they're like, oh, I don't have 10,000. When I wait for the questions or ask them, is that the only issue? Yeah. What will happen is they'll tell me, oh, well, I have one card with 5,000 and I have 2 other cards I can put the other amount on. Well, guess what? I can do that all day long and still get a full payment right now. But if I had thrown the payment plan out there, they would have just taken that. I don't know what their needs are. So you're constantly finding out what their needs are. So now, even though I have a payment plan that I have set for my program, I'll say, well, what were you thinking? What kind of payment plan would support you? What did you have in mind? I'm here to support you. So remember, you're the authority and you're saying, hey, I'm here to support you. I'm here to work with you. Now they start telling you what kind of money they're dealing with. And you'll know, do I need to put them in my baseline payment plan because you know that's the bottom line you're willing to take? Or they might just need till, they can do a deposit today of $1,500 and they need till next week to get the balance. I take that all day long over a 3 month, 6 month, 12-month payment plan if that's all we're dealing with. So we jump the gun a lot of times. And then that's it. That's your offer. So don't be afraid at the end of the call to rise up as the leader, the authority, the expert you are. Really listen to them through the call. And at the end of the sales call, you know what they need. They need A, B, C. And they need to do them in this order in order to accomplish the result that they want and the reason why they need it, and have them write it down because it's important, right? This is how you are of service to them, because even if they say no and they end up not buying, now they have what they need, right? And then let them know that, like, we don't need to do anymore. There's more that we can do, but we don't need to do more than that. Once this happens, we can add on some other things like this. And sometimes I don't even go into that much detail. I just say, look, this is what you need right now. And once we master these things, now we can move forward to start adding some things together, like helping you with your authority positioning in the marketplace so it ups your credibility, so people see you as the go-to person. Getting you some appearances on ABC, CBC, NBC, Wall Street Journal. Helping you automate your sales processes so that you don't have to be in them all the time, automating your income generating processes. That comes next. Putting out amazing lead magnets out there to attract the right clients. Right now, these are the 3 foundational pieces that you need. All right, so I'm gonna open it up for questions if you guys have more questions. And if you were able to do a power phrase, I wanna hear it. You guys have questions? Was this helpful for you?
It was helpful. I think the biggest problem, and I think I've talked to you about this before, I always seem to get the people that start telling me they don't have money before I get to that point. Mm-hmm. So when I get to the end where I'm about to say, okay, here's the price, I'm already feeling like I need to give either, a payment plan or lower the price.
What's your indication that they don't have money?
Start saying it in the beginning.
Like what do they say though? Do they say, I don't have money? What's their
say, I don't have money. They'll just say either I've spent so much doing, other whatever.
Yeah.
I had a coach before. I really don't have that much to invest. That sort of thing. So
can I tell you that I've heard that before and still had people buy $10,000 programs, $7,000 programs, $6,000 programs. So because they didn't say I don't have any money, they said I don't have that much to invest, and that's a relative term. Like for some people, not having that much to invest could be $5,000, or for others it could be $20. We don't know. But I also talk to people. It's also taking that leadership role in the beginning of the call, which that's not what this call is about. It's like how you navigate through the first portions of the call, setting it up and saying, hey, this call is about us seeing if we could work together. Yes, it's a strategy session. But if at the end of this call, I feel like I can support you, I'm going to make an offer. And you've got to be willing to make that investment in your business. And I've literally gotten off the phone with people in the beginning who are like, I'm not willing to invest anything. And I'm like, well, we're not going to finish this call because my time is precious and so is yours.
I had someone say to me in the beginning of the call, I already have a coach. And I'm like, I'm not going to be willing to invest or whatever, something she said in the beginning. And it was like, okay, well, like, why are we continuing with the conversation?
You should ask that question. So the things, this is something that Adam actually pulled out of me. He goes, whatever you think in your head, you should say. Stop being polite to people. He goes, that person said this to you, because he used to record my calls and listen to them in the beginning. He said, that person said this to you. And what was your first thought? And I said something like that. Well, why are we on the call? And he was like, you should have said it. Whatever pops in your head, you're the authority, you're the leader. This is your time. You're there to support. You can't support if they lie to you and they're not honest. You can't support them if they're pretending and la la land. And you're definitely not there to support people who are just there to like pick your brain, right? So when she said that, you should have said, well, if your coach is supporting you, then why are you here? You picked up the phone for some, and it doesn't have to be malicious. You decided to reach out to me for some reason. Why are we on this call? So that's really it. It's like you got to get
strategy sessions, right? When you
say that again.
When you're doing the strategy sessions, especially if you happen to be on social media and you're interacting with people and you offer a free strategy session, there are freebie seekers. So there are people that you stumble upon who really their intention is to get that one piece of information from you, and they had no intention anyway. It's kind of hard to weed them out if the goal is to do the strategy session and try to get a client.
The way you weed them out is by the questions you ask in the beginning, or having a small application process in the beginning where you can just tell somebody that I'm not willing to give you a strategy session because it's not going to benefit you. So that's the point of having the app. Do you do a pre-application?
You're muted.
You're muted. Here, let me unmute you. Oops, I just muted you.
Okay. You got me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. It depends on how they're coming into the strategy session.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point I was doing like these, I think my dog is barking, so I hope you guys don't hear it. I was doing like these 15-minute kind of biz therapy sessions, which the goal was kind of to get people on, talk with them for a couple of minutes, give them one actionable step. Mm-hmm. But in those, I didn't really do an application process, to kind of weed them out. And I was getting people that wanted to just do the 15 minutes, get what they can get and kind of go, mm-hmm. which works great for testimonial purposes. But other than that, you know what I mean? So
at the beginning of your conversations, you always should preface the nature of the conversation. That what I just said, like, here's what's going to happen during the session. It's going to work like this. So however it's going to work, I'm going to ask you questions. I am going to try to laser in on the one thing. I want to support you, give you one actionable step that you can do. But I'm also going to let you know that as I'm talking to you, if I really feel like I can support you in moving forward, I may offer the ability for us to work together further. For you, in those 15-minute conversations, you might say, I want to offer us to do an additional session so that we can explore the possibility of us working together.
Oh, I like that.
Because they're so short.
Right.
Or if you really get somebody on the phone, just make the offer. You can make an offer in 15 minutes, but you still need to structure those calls as strategy sessions. They still need to be structured like a strategy session. Don't get on the calls and just start brainstorming right away. Take the same flow and structure of your normal, longer strategy sessions and just condense it. What do you need? What's wrong? What's getting in your way? Like, what do you desire to have? Why don't you have it? Why did you decide to come to this call? That kind of thing. Agitate that problem a little bit by counting the costs with them. And then you still could do the same thing. Here's what I see that you need to do. The number one thing, I told you I'd give you one actionable strategy. Here's that strategy. But I also see this hole in this gap. You need this, this, and this. So now you're still making the offer like I just described to you. And you can still make an offer to somebody who you want to work with. So it's all about you. You're the leader. You got to lead them through that process.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And I get it. I know there's people who are freebie seekers, but don't be afraid to say, I'm not doing a call with you. It's your time. You don't have to. Just because you said you would, you don't have to. If they're going to be that blatant and rude and say, look, I don't care what you're offering, I'm not buying it. I just want the free information. I would just be like, ain't nobody got time for that. I think that this call probably won't be of service to me or you. not just because you said you didn't want to work with me, but you know, I want to support people who are looking to be supported. And with that kind of attitude, I just think it would be a good idea if we just not did it. Okay?
Thank you.
And when that happens, I've had people go, wait, you just want to hang up right now? You don't want to talk to me? And I'm like, well, you just told me that, you know, you don't want to work with me. And the nature of this call, which we talked about, is I'm also looking for an opportunity. I'm willing to give as much as I possibly can, but I'm looking for people that I can support further. I'm going to give you one actionable nugget, but I guarantee you need more support than you currently have. Also understand that when people already have coaches, I typically do VIP days with people who already have coaches. If they don't have a coach, I won't do a VIP day with them because they don't have support to implement the strategy. So if somebody says they already have a coach, that doesn't mean there's still not something you can do with them.
Got it. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions? No
I
questions.
feel like I had a question, but I didn't write it down, and now I can't think of it. But I did have two big takeaways that I would like to just repeat. The one being mute the phone after you say the price. Like, don't start to explain it or talk benefits or anything like that. And the other big thing, like noticeable thing that I'm recalling right now, was just the language of, you know, really being sure that you're using their language by saying, this is what I hear you saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then it's kind of like, even knowing that you're going to use that language, it makes you think that much more about really listening to what it is that they want, so that you're making the offer they want, and not just, you know, I guess for myself, like I always see like 50 things that could help that person.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, let's just go and do these things. And it's like, they're not looking for all of those things. They're looking for one thing. And
yeah. Well, and understand too, that it doesn't mean you're not going to support them with those things. Remember, you're the expert and the authority. You know exactly what they need, but you don't want to start throwing things at them that they didn't ask for.
right.
So just let them know that what they desire, they can have. And tell them how and why you're going to support them in doing that. And then you deal with the rest once they get in. Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. You know they need, you know, the landing page and the this and the that. Like for speaking, I know they need the structure. I know they need to know their offer. They need to know how to book gigs. They need to know all these things and how to make a sale. They need to know how to make an offer and pitch it from speaking. I'm not going to talk about that on a call. I'm just going to talk about what they wanted, which was more visibility, more clients. Well, here's the way you need to do that. Like I said with that lady, it's like you need to get more visible. The way you're going to get more visible is you need to get on audio, video, or you need to speak. Are you committed to doing that? If you're committed to doing any of those things, then I can support you. If you're not, I cannot. I will not.
And it really keeps them out of overwhelm, because now you're just focused on one problem, one solution, versus all these things are your problems.
Yeah.
And here's all the solutions.
Yeah. Because I know like the next level for my clients is that authority positioning. It's how do you use testimonials and where do you put those in your sites and on your presentations and all of those things. I'm not going to go through all of that in a sales conversation because they're going to get overwhelmed with too much information, and a confused mind does what?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. A confused mind does nothing. That's why it's key that you take those notes. So what was your other takeaway?
Be unavailable for confusion and overwhelm. Choose action.
Yeah. So it's a choice. You posted something or you asked something about that yesterday on one of our other sessions. I think it was with Adam.
Yeah, with being accountable to yourself, basically.
Yeah. You just choose. It's hard for me too, because I get so many ideas to go to the left or to the right, and even to do the things that I need to do on a daily basis. Sometimes I don't want to do nothing. I just want to. So I'm very clear of here are the action items that's going to pull me forward to this thing that I need to do. The busy work, I'll let those things go. Like I won't spend time like revamping my website and doing things that most people spend their time doing, but I make sure that I do my follow-ups, my sales calls, my videos, whatever I need to do that's going to possibly bring me more clients. And those are usually the things that inside of you have the most angst about doing. I get those things out of the way first. Booking, speaking engagements, I get that out of the way first. And I put on a timer, and when the timer goes off, I give myself permission to play and do something different. I know that in a day, I only have 4 hours of workable focused business work, whether I do it all 4 back to back to that, you can work all day long, 8 hours. But if you were tracking your time, I guarantee you would still only come out with 4 hours of time. I've done it before, time and time again. Somebody challenged me to do it. It really comes out that way. You work about 4 hours a day. So why not choose how those 4 hours are going to be broken up with a timer? And when I go in for my activity, I'm not prepping. I'm not doing all that prep time because I know exactly what I'm doing. I already know exactly who I'm calling, all of those things. And then when the timer goes off, I play a game or I go talk to my kids or something. And then I come back later and do my next hour or 45 minutes. And I do that 4 times in a day, 6 to 4 times in a day, depending on if it's half-hour increments or hour increments.
Yeah, when you said that about how you kind of pop in and out of the different tasks or whatever, I was like, yeah, that's a lot like me.
But I do it on purpose. It's scheduled and purposeful because I know myself. I know I'm going to do it anywhere. It's going to be a squirrel. I'm going to want to do something else.
The shiny penny, look.
Yeah, and I don't have reminders, bells, and whistles. People get irritated with me because I don't answer my email. I answer it scheduled. So you can email me all day long, but until it's time for me to answer email, I will not see it. I won't see your text messages. My phone is sitting right here right now, but it's upside down. There's no ringer on or anything. I don't know what's going on it. When we're done with this call, I have email check time scheduled. So I'm going to hang up from you guys and I'm actually going to check those messages. But it will be the first time that I've done it since this morning when I woke up. That's it. So I want to see you guys try this in your next sales conversation. Now, of course, setting up the offer and asking the right questions in the beginning is going to support you also. And I think in the playground, there should be some kind of flow or format to a sales conversation in the file section if you don't have one already. That will help you kind of go through that process. But when you get to the offer, once you've counted the cost, once you've found the cost of not doing it or not making the investment or not having what they desire, you do your turnaround and then you're in your offer phase and you just move forward from there. So did you guys have a chance to do a power phrase? Did anybody get one done that you want to share? No? Okay. Do power phrases for me, please, pretty please, and post at least one in the group so I can see it. So it's your benefit, what you do, the benefit of what you do, and then the benefit of the benefit. Having 3 to 5 of those minimum is going to support you tremendously in everything you do and give you so much clarity and start to draw people to you so that you're not confused about your messaging and they're not confused about what you do. And you'll start to notice that people say the same things over and over again. They're asking for the same things in your sales conversations, and those are the things you should start honing in on. Not just saying, not just the things you want to do for people or that you know they need because you're the expert, but using their language and their words so that you can grab those clients and then you can give them what they need after they've paid you. Okay? All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. This has been another edition of SuperNova Sales School, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Jam.